Welcome back to the channel. Picture this. You've just had one of those long, draining days. You drop onto the couch, let out a big sigh, and before you can even reach for the remote, there it is, a soft, warm paw resting gently on your arm or your knee, just placed there, like it belongs. Most of us smile and think, "Oh, you want a treat, or a walk, or a belly rub." And sometimes, yeah, that's exactly it. But what if I told you that paw isn't always asking for something? What if sometimes it's telling you something deeper? Something rooted in tens of thousands of years of evolution, and something scientists have actually measured in a lab. Today we're unpacking the real psychology behind this behavior, and I'll make you a promise. Every study seen is real, published in respected scientific journals, including a few facts the internet usually gets wrong. So stick around to the end because the strongest, most convincing study of all, I'm saving for last. That gentle pressure isn't just cute, it's communication. Dogs have lived alongside humans for at least 15,000 years, and according to a lot of genetic research, possibly tens of thousands. Over that enormous stretch of time, they've learned to read us, our faces, our voices, even our emotions, sometimes better than we read ourselves. When your dog puts a paw on you, there are usually a few layers to it. The first is physical connection and balance. They're anchoring themselves to you. The second is a calming signal. In dog body language, offering a paw can be a way of lowering tension, of saying, "I'm not a threat." And the third, the most fascinating one, is that they may be responding to how you feel. And that's where the science kick. In 2012, two researchers at Goldsmiths, University of London, Deborah Custance and Jennifer Mayer, published an experiment in the journal Animal Cognition. They put 18 dogs in a room with their owner and a stranger. One at a time, a person would either pretend to cry, hum in a strange way, or just talk normally. The result? The dogs approached, looked at, and touched the person who was crying was far more than when that same person was humming. Even though humming was odd and attention-grabbing too. That told the researchers the dogs were reacting to the emotion, not just to curiosity. But here's the detail a lot of videos get backwards, and I want to set it straight. The dogs did not just run to their owner, they went to whoever was crying, including the stranger. And that's actually what makes this so remarkable. As co-author Jennifer Mayer pointed out, if the dogs were only seeking comfort for themselves, they should have run to their owner, their usual safe place. But they didn't. Now, I'll be honest with you because the scientists were honest, too. They were careful. They said the behavior was consistent with empathy, but the most modest explanation is something called emotional contagion. The dog catches a bit of your feeling and moves towards you. Either way, the takeaway is beautiful. Your sadness is not invisible to your dog. But it doesn't stop at coming closer. In 2018, a team led by Emily Sanford and Julia Myers-Manor published a clever study in the journal Learning and Behavior. The idea came when Myers-Manor was playing with her kids. They buried her under a pile of pillows. She jokingly called for help, and within seconds, her collie dug her out. So they brought 34 dogs into the lab. Each owner sat behind a clear door the dog could push open, then either pretended to cry and call for help, or just hummed calmly. The dogs opened that door noticeably faster when their owner was crying, and here's the part that gets me. The dogs that didn't open the door weren't cold or indifferent. They were the most stressed of all. They cared so much they froze. Another team, Van Borg and Wynn at Arizona State University, ran an even more rigorous version in 2020 with 60 dogs, published in PLOS I. About a third of the dogs rescued their trapped owner, and they opened the box more often when the owner cried for help than when the owner just calmly read a magazine. That's about as close to a real-life Lassie moment as science gets. The paw on your knee belongs to that same family of behaviors, a way of checking in, a way of being there, a way of saying, I've got you. Now let's get a little nerdy, but I promise it pays off. Scientists have found a special type of nerve fiber in our skin called C-tactile afferents. These aren't the nerves for pain or deep pressure. They're the feel-good fibers. They respond to slow, gentle touch, and they can trigger the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, in humans. And here's something. Most videos skip, so I'll tell you straight. These nerves fire most strongly to gentle stroking, the kind that moves, not to a paw, sitting still. So the clearest version of this science is actually when you stroke your dog, not just when the paw lands on you. But that doesn't make the gesture any less meaningful. A warm, soft touch in a quiet, close moment is a doorway into the body's bonding system. And that brings me to the most convincing study of all, the one I saved for you. In 2015, a team led by Miho Nagasawa and Takefumi Kikusui at Azabu University in Japan published a finding in Science, one of the most prestigious journals in the world, that changed how we understand the bond between people and dogs. They measured oxytocin in the urine of both the dogs and the owners, before and after they spent time together. The result? When a dog and owner looked into each other's eyes for a while, oxytocin went up in both of them. The longer they held that mutual gaze, the more of that bonding hormone both human and dog produced. It's the same kind of loop that bonds a mother and her child. And here's the part that really lands. When they ran the same test with wolves, the dog's closest relative, the effect vanished. Wolves barely make eye contact with people, and that oxytocin loop simply didn't appear. In other words, the ability to use a gaze, a gesture, a touch to reach into a human's emotional world is something dogs evolved through domestication, through living right beside us. Wolves touch each other for survival and status. Dogs developed a whole language of contact, built to connect across the species line. That paw on your knee, that look up into your eyes, it's the result of thousands of years of evolution, shaping the perfect companion. I'm not going to tell you a true story I can't verify. Instead, think about a scene that so many dog owners describe almost word for word, and now you'll understand exactly why it happens. Someone gets bad news. They sit alone in the living room, silent tears falling. The dog, who's been resting nearby, gets, it doesn't bark, it doesn't ask for anything. It walks over, places one paw on its person, leans its whole body in, and stays. Everything we just covered explains that moment. The dog senses the shift in emotion. That's the goldsmith's study. It moves towards you instead of away. That's the rescue experiments. And the gentle contact taps into the bonding system in both of you. That's Nagasawa's work in Science. This isn't magic, it's the biology of love. So the next time your dog rests a paw on you, whether you're scrolling on your phone at the end of a long day, sitting quietly with your coffee, or carrying something heavy, pause. For a second. Look into those eyes. Feel that gentle pressure. They're not just being cute. They're communicating on a level almost no other animal reaches with us, a level even their wolf cousins never developed. That paw is a bridge between two species, and the science has actually measured its weight. If this changed how you see that little gesture, even a little, drop a like so other dog lovers can find it. And I want to hear from you. Has your dog ever put a paw on you at the exact moment you needed it most? Tell me in the comments. Thanks for watching, and today, give your pup an extra scratch behind the ears. They've earned it.